Yo, family, what's good? Welcome back again to another daily live stream. We are back, of course, doing this, and we shall be doing this every single day for the foreseeable future. I do believe that at least Sunday's live stream won't be going live at the allotted time of 8 p.m. UK time, probably 6 p.m. But of course, I'll make an announcement about that when the time approaches. This title of today's stream and the focus is still very much on the geopolitical tensions that have been brewing and in fact growing over this weekend. The markets are closed today because it's MLK Martin Luther King Day, which is why you've not seen the markets react too significantly. But in saying that, you are seeing the common factors of metals, silver and gold starting to rally up again, going to all-time highs. Now, I've been hearing a lot from other YouTubers and content creators and whatnot that eventually they're going to peter out. And of course, they will. Eventually the risk off sentiment will shift back to risk on. And we've got a lot of information and evidence as such to support that theory. But while geopolitical tensions stay as high as they are, while these tariff feud continues to rally upwards, while you could have any form of outbreak with the Fed, with other nations, with the midterms, all these other developments that are quickly approaching, people are not comfortable or confident right now in the markets. Now, how much higher the likes of gold and silver can go, only time will tell. I would not be surprised to see a 5,000 gold, if not a little bit higher. I do think we see these metals continuing to rally while the markets continue to be in a period of uncertainty. Now, one thing we mentioned yesterday, those who be tuning in daily, welcome back once again. Those who are just tuning in maybe for the first time, we spoke about this for the last few days and even yesterday as well. How with Monday, the new week approaching, we are very, very likely to see further headwinds, continued pullbacks in the market and touching the next key level of support. And lo and behold, that is exactly what played out. If we go to the 15-minute chart here, we can see in UK time, pretty much as the day started, we saw Bitcoin correct down from where it was hovering around 95k, coming straight down in a span of an hour to the top bottom of the support band here at around $92,000. Of course, now we are seeing a bit of a bounce, albeit it's quite a weak bounce. There is a possibility by the end of the trading day, you see it maybe touch the top level of support, but given the markets open up tomorrow and we have seen further developments with these tariffs, which I think personally will cause more headwinds, I'm now currently reverting my plan. I say reverting my plan. My plan that I've been mentioning it publicly is that I'm looking for the next long trade opportunity. And albeit I still am, but with the markets being in such a with the trade war, with the FUD continuing to rally, headwinds for me are all but inevitable. Thankfully, because we have seen a bit of a recovery and a bit of a bounce today with Bitcoin, there's a possibility that we won't come down as far as maybe previously anticipated. We did touch the support and we saw a little bit of a rebound, which is nice. We're currently down 0.64%, which wasn't too bad, around 93k. When tomorrow the markets open, and throughout this week, how it could play out, I would not be surprised. Of course, my own personal beliefs, not financial advice, but based on the research and the market structure, I would not be surprised to see Bitcoin lose the support here. And for me, then, you could see support levels on the way down. I look big ones around 90k, but for me, I do think we see 87k Bitcoin again. Of course, the big critical level and the psychological zone in Bitcoin, as we can go back and look a little bit further, we did see this bottom band here is quite evidently another very, very strong level of support. During the whole massive liquidation event, the last quarter of 2025, we saw Bitcoin did blow past it, but ultimately recovered by the end of the day and was touching the bottom level here of 83 to 84,000. And then we saw it retest it again and even again. So this is a big level. So for me, that would be arguably the strongest level right now for Bitcoin and therefore for the crypto market. The thumbnail of today's stream is crypto 3 trillion. And what do I mean by that? Well, all correlates to what we're talking about in this stream in regard to the recent tariff updates. Also, we're going to provide some project updates, namely, of course, around Kaspa again. But it's because of the total crypto market cap. We are currently hovering around 3.14 trillion. And with the headwinds and the geopolitical tensions continuing to rally, could we see Bitcoin continue to correct and therefore see crypto once again lose 3 trillion? My own personal belief once again, but I think it's possible right now. That is not for me to be a massive cause for concern, because one thing we're also going to get throughout this stream is the fact that the New York Stock Exchange, the NYSE, have announced a new tokenization platform. So while all this FUD is continuing to brew and people are getting increasingly frustrated and tired, the rallying and developments and construction and the foundation being built around tokenization, around crypto, around blockchain is continuing. So what I perceive this developments here, as we talk about continuously, is important so we can understand where the levels are, we can find our support, use those levels to either trade off or even accumulate at lower levels. But these are distractions from what is taking place in the general market, around us, in plain sight, but not being spoken about enough. So can we lose 3 trillion? I want to hear what your thoughts are in the chat. Let me know. I do think it's possible right now. And we'll come back to the market in a short moment. We can look quickly also at Kaspa, and equally we spoke about it yesterday, how Kaspa will likely touch this 4.1 cents level. And it did. It touched it. It did momentarily blow past it, but it has already made a recovery. It's now currently down 0.03%, so it's not moved. At least not much right now. Go once more to the 15-minute chart. Have a little closer look. We saw, similarly, when Bitcoin made that massive correction, Kaspa followed in suit and then ended that 15-minute candle on that support band of 4.1. So this is proof that what we cover in these content, in these streams, the support levels that I have drawn out, they are accurate. They are accurate support levels because it's exactly what we are seeing in real time. The charts respecting the support bands that we've drawn out. And once again, you saw a very, very weak rebounds, a weak recovery from Kaspa as well. I'm still under the impression we see more corrections tomorrow, and we'll come back and continue to address that throughout the stream. If we do, where is next for Kaspa? I do still think that we could see it come down a little bit further, but we'll go through the questions as well. We've got Double D back once again. Welcome, my man. Cryptony, as always, brother. Welcome. LB on the check-in. Crypto Ghost, what's up, my man? Double D says Wing has already put a comment for the live for tomorrow with pumps. Hello, friends. Well, that's great to hear. Yes, tomorrow live stream is going to be very, very exciting. That's also going to what I was going to mention later on as well. We can see, of course, I did repost it. Just saying, you know, do only good every day. Tomorrow will be the second episode of Blockchain Banter live on YouTube with Crypto Punter and, of course, myself as well, starting at 9 PM UK time. We've got Roy O'Neill tuning up. We might have some other KII reps turning up as well, if we're lucky, which would be huge. We have also got a very interesting post as well, which I'll come back to later on the stream, which you can see here, KII. I don't know what this post is about. Hopefully we'll find out more tomorrow, but time will tell. Now, before we get into any more of the content real quickly, just want to welcome back once more everyone to the channel. Hope you're doing very, very well. Getting some more questions real quickly. We got Cryptony here asking and saying that there's a nice support test of the 0.041 area, cough, cough. And I know exactly why you're saying that, brother. And yes, I would care to agree. It's exactly what we'd be speaking about. You know, the fact that that was another critical level of support. And it did play out exactly as we spoke about in these streams. Every single day it played out exactly as we had foretold it, which is great to see that the analysis that we had there did pan out as expected. Once more, referring to the chart and going back to the 15-minute, while it did blow past it, which is what I saw you mentioned here, a perfect example of why you set your stop loss a bit below your target or logical psychological level. I completely agree. You're completely right there. If you didn't set your stop loss there, or you didn't have it at a psychological level, which in this case would have been about 0.0407, which is where it bottomed out at. So let's say you went to 0.0405, just for argument's sake, that would be your stop loss there. But when this 15-minute candle ended, it ended at the bottom of the support band. This is the sort of analysis that I've been able to actually learn myself a lot more so thanks to the VIP. Of course, the VIP community, you can join 7-day free trials. There are also discounts available. You can check it out, links down below in the description. But while I've been in that community providing education, insights, assets that I'm looking into, and try to build up an ecosystem where we can all learn a lot more and hopefully make money through it, our experienced trader in there, who we brought in near the beginning, C Crypto, has helped all of us, myself included, to understand more about markets and support levels. We've got tutorials in there as well, which helped us understand that, which is why I'm a lot more comfortable nowadays to talk about these sort of charts on stream as a reference to what I have learned through the VIP. So I've also, while creating a community for people, have learned more from it myself. That's the benefit of it. You could end up learning more and making good of it yourself. So you want to find out more, again, the VIP links are down below. You can check it out, www.wop.com/coin-factory, 7-day free trial. And there's also our affiliate exchange, BYDFI, no KYC, no VPN necessary. And you can also sign up through there. And if you follow the steps of the Discord server, you get a 1-month free trial as well. So there are opportunities out there. I highly recommend checking them out. Bitcoin going to 94.2 to retest support, resistance flip, then down in my opinion. Let's have a quick look at that. So, and I mean, yeah, that's once more in line with the support band here. And equally, I would not be against that possibility. Seeing Bitcoin probably continuing throughout the next few hours or so or before the traditional market opens, which will be in about 12 hours or so from now, maybe a little bit later, 14 hours. You see Bitcoin trying to make a bit of a push, touching this level here, and then we'll see it retest that, probably get rejected at 94k, and then come back down again. I do believe that we see Bitcoin come down. We probably see Bitcoin touch this level down here again. We've got a big week ahead of us. So let me quickly, although I did see Krypton is saying to check the Discord. Let me quickly check the Discord. And we've got this chart here from Kryptoni. We can see the Kaspa USDT 13-hour chart on XC, the trend line going down right now. And we've got the levels here where kind of entry levels, and of course the sell levels here where the bears tend to gain more control, where the bulls tend to gain more control. So albeit therefore this would be perceived as a very, very strong level psychologically for Kaspa right now. And then you'd likely see the sell level, which I imagine in and around 6 cents or so. And yes, no, I think that is once more very, very accurate, and what we have also spoke about. This does seem to be a very, very strong level for Kaspa. You know, we haven't seen Kaspa down so much for so long, and given the updates coming out, what we're going to be knowing and seeing for Kaspa in the coming weeks and months. In fact, we have got another big update about that, which comes from Pavel, reference on Polinsky. We'll get to that in a short moment. I think Kaspa pullbacks, yes, I do think we see that, but I think Kaspa has a good possibility to perform very, very well in the short to mid-term, especially a lot more when that sentiment does switch and flip from risk off to risk on. So these are good levels right now. They are very good levels. And actually, we could quickly have a look at what let's see what Kaspa Lens says. Because Kaspa Lens has an indicator, sentiment meter. So right now it's at neutral, which isn't too bad, just below 50 right now. So almost in that fear territory, which, you know, when it's in fear, you tend to correlate to meaning, in that case, then, you know, it's in a sort of too much fear, is kind of oversold. You want to start looking to hopefully accumulate. But let me quickly welcome back a few more people. We got Falco here again, brother. Welcome back. Good to have you back again as well. Andy, appreciate being here, brother. I'm 2.5k Kaspa away from my target amount. Round of applause to you, man. I love hearing that. Your conviction in Kaspa has been second to none. I definitely have kept you close in mind throughout every single day we've done our streams, accumulating small amounts continuously. That's conviction right there. So shout out to you. Hopefully you reach it very soon. And even then some, you want to accumulate more, but keep going, brother. You're saying that we think we bounce up on Kaspa from here and we start making the lower lows. Yeah, I always also care to agree. I mentioned in yesterday's stream that I'm looking for the next long opportunity, hoping the market will start to make a rebound. And that was before we had the tariffs that were launched by Trump. And we've seen the progression and the continual growing feud between this, which is why I believe that actually now that sentiment, and this is perfectly fine. I was looking for a long opportunity, and then after these developments are taking shape, I've realized that actually, based on my research, which let's see if I can actually load one of them up. This is what I mentioned to my VIPs in our roundtable on Sunday. And if I quickly preload it, there's an article here where it basically just stated that geopolitical tensions are when the markets pay all their focus on, right here. This comes from the Danske research team, and you can see if we scroll down a little bit. In the first weeks of 2026, it seems focus will most likely remain on geopolitics. This is one of the, this is one of the sources that, truth be told, this is accessible to people. But the benefit of the community that we have created, the VIP, is that we can find this information, which is normally hard to find or people aren't aware of it. And we can hear what these institutions and these banks and what these research teams are telling people, what they believe is going to happen. And they're the ones who are in these inner circles who know more as well. They believe that, I mean, they've seen it so far that 2026 has started off very, very eventful, but less so in economics and more so in geopolitics. That's what I've been saying in my streams and what I've been telling to my VIPs, that we've got to keep in mind of what's happening to the Fed, the inflation reports, the job reports. They're all important, but right now investors care more about what is the geopolitical tensions, what's happening between Russia and Ukraine, or more importantly, America and, well, effectively the world by this point. Greenland, the main one right now. Venezuela was recent. That's why that also caused some headwinds. Iran. All these things are very important to keep note of. That's why we keep a close eye on this and why we provide this research to the VIP. So we are in the know and therefore are aware beforehand of where the markets are going to go. We know right now geopolitical tensions are quite high. And there's a lot of headwinds therefore ahead of us, especially when the markets open tomorrow, MLK Day finishing today. We'll see a possibility of a little bit of a relief. We are kind of seeing that already right now. Once more, going closer to the 15-minute chart, we can see it rebounded down here. We're seeing a little bit of relief right now, where we're currently up about 2-3% or so in the past, what I can gauge to be about 19 hours. We could see maybe a continual momentum throughout the day, maybe going a little bit higher, possibly returning to this level here before the drop, or just below that, maybe around here. I would be more aligned to believe we probably see Kaspa in this instance return to levels around here. And then when tomorrow the markets break out and the markets have a chance to react to all this geopolitical uncertainty, we'll then see Kaspa and, of course, coincide to Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin will likely come down. I think you can see Bitcoin possibly return maybe up here. We'll have to wait and see, though. It does depend. If we draw this over a little bit more, actually, I'll probably see more so around here. That is my current belief based on what I can see. I don't use trend lines. Trend lines are helpful. We saw Kryptonies earlier, and I don't think they're unhelpful at all. I think they can be very helpful. But one thing that once we talk about in our VIP is we try to help people develop their own trading strategies. And for me, what works for me is purely the basics. I don't look at RSI. I don't need to. I don't find it that helpful for me. It can be helpful for some people, and if it is, go for it. I don't look at it very much. The golden pocket that people use, the fib retracement, I've used it sometimes, and it can be helpful. But sometimes for me, the textbook, plain and simple, just looking at the chart on a broad perspective and just looking at where you have seen the candles see resistance and support, and what you see happen repeatedly, that's when you know there's a lot of PvP and battling going on around those between the buyers and the sellers. That's why I could look at the market right now. I could draw that even further, and I can see that around this level, I can see we have seen around here, equally seen a bit around here, around here, around here. If I was to draw out a zone, it'd be between these two zones here. I think you see Bitcoin probably return between these two levels of 93.8 to 93.4 if I was to make a prediction. Of course, not financial advice. If we're lucky, and as Kryptoni highlighted, possibly as high as 94.2. So one between these three levels we'll see it return to, and then given the current sentiment, we'll see Bitcoin likely come a bit further down, retesting the level down here, and probably going down to the support down here as well. Now, why do I say that? Why do I believe that? Well, here We had seen the US stock market futures extend their decline with NASDAQ 100 futures down 1.5%, which is the step 5 of their playbook, which I went through in more detail with my VIPs as well. The kind of repetitive nature we see every time these tariffs have been implemented. Also, the step 6 of the playbook, according to Kobe's letter here, is the escalation, which that's what they mentioned. They mentioned how you see tariffs enforced by Trump. You see a higher tariff also put forward as well. So you saw 10% to be implemented on EU nations by Feb 1st, and then a more aggressive number, which is 25% by June 1st. That's the first few steps. And then you see the markets react to that uncertainty, and then you see an escalation, which is what's happening right now. Trump had a full letter towards Norway saying, Dear Jones, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America. Denmark cannot protect that land from Russia or China, and why do they have a right of ownership anyways? There are no written documents, it's only that a boat landed there hundreds of years ago, but we have boats landing there also. I have done more for NATO than any other person since its founding, and now NATO should be doing something for the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump. Now, I'm not going to get into I'm not going to dissect this letter, whether I believe it's true or not. That's not the premise of that. The premise of that is you've seen the doubling down, which is the part of the playbook that we're expecting, and this will add further headwinds to the market and likely to see a pullback when they open tomorrow. We've got Zero Hedge here as well, talking about how we see the markets react, the kind of steps we have seen taken, which, to just kind of summarize that, talking about gold rallying, which we've seen that already. Gold currently up 1.6%, silver up almost 5%, surpassing all-time highs and then some. And we're going to see this continue most likely throughout the week as well, as Trump is more adamant now to take control of Greenland. Stocks sold off and gold hit new record highs as trade tensions between the US and Europe erupted over Trump's push to take control of Greenland, which of course was the letter we just looked through with Norway. While US cash markets are closed for MLK Day, S&P futures dropped 1.1% and Nasdaq futures tumbled 1.4%, while Euro's Stoxx 600 was on track for its worst day in 2 months, led by luxury stocks and German automakers as BMW dropped 3%. Unideal, of course, to see, and we can see also what other top news happened overnight, which is Trump issuing tariffs on 8 European countries. The Pentagon readies 1,500 troops apparently as well. Trump invited Putin to join Gaza border peace, according to the Kremlin. And you've got many, many more developments that's taken shape. I will be linking this document for those who want to look through it for yourself in my free Discord server. So at the very least, you can join the free Discord server. The links are down below in the description, and you can get access to the whole community in its entirety. The Kaspa chat, the general chat, the other chats are in there as well, and other information there. And of course, that also gives you direct links should you want to learn more to the VIP community as well. And also BYDFI and the steps you could take to get 1 month free trial to the VIP. So making use of everything provided in there without having to spend a penny really, which should be beneficial as well. But you get this, I'll put that in the news channel in the free Discord server for you to look through it for yourself. But we've seen that right now. We've seen this taking shape. And that is ultimately why I believe we'll probably see a bit of we'll see further headwinds in the market. We'll see gold and silver probably rally up higher, and we'll see a bigger pullback when the markets open tomorrow. We have got a lot of big things happening this week, though. Stuff that I once again mentioned on Sunday to the VIPs, which will shape how the week pans out. We've got some macro reports, although we did just cover that macro is not as important right now. But we've still got some macro reports that are quite important. The PCE inflation, the Fed preferred metric. We have jobless claims, also quite important. We have the Q3 GDP. It'd be very, very important to see. Hopefully we surpass GDP expectations, which would be really big. But we also have something interesting taking place on Wednesday, which will be Davos. We got a quick clip interview here with the co-founder and CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, that I'm going to play out. But at this event, also interestingly, when he talks about the world leaders talking about economic freedom, Trump will also be there on Wednesday talking. So what Trump says on Wednesday will also significantly impact the markets, and I would not put it past him to talk more so about this Greenland deal that he is trying to construct right now as well. So listen very closely here to Brian Armstrong as I quickly put the audio on. No sound. Okay, interesting. I thought I'd set that up. Let me double check that. I apologize, family. Audio is always very buggy for me. I don't know why it continues to keep disconnecting.
Wealth creation that everybody should have access to, and crypto is going to help make that happen. So we'll keep you updated. And hey, y'all, I'm here in Davos at the World Economic Forum, and just wanted to give you a quick update. 3 main goals for us this week. Number 1, I'm talking to different world leaders about economic freedom and how crypto can update their financial system. Number 2, we're going to continue to work on the market structure legislation and meet with some of the bank CEOs to figure out how we can make this a win-win. This stablecoin should be an opportunity for both banks and crypto companies, as long as we're all treated on a level playing field. And of course, defer to the Senate and the administration about how to take those discussions forward. Number 3, we're going to talk a lot about tokenization this week and how it's democratizing access to capital markets. There's about 4 billion adults globally that they're unbrokered, they don't have access to any kind of high quality investments. And this is the engine of wealth creation that everybody should have access to. And crypto is going to help make that happen. So we'll keep you updated and talk soon.
So, as we heard, the 3 main things we're talking about is a talk with world leaders about economic freedom, about how crypto can help the financial system. They are going to continue to push for market structure legislation, which we have seen a bit of a dispute recently, particularly with Coinbase, where they wanted to pull out support because the banks basically wanted to regain the profits and more so of the control when it comes to stablecoin yields, which Coinbase were not happy about. Other crypto firms seemed fine with it, like Kraken, like Ripple, and some others as well. They seem to be fine with that, but Coinbase were not. So we're going to hear more about this week, hopefully, as well. And of course, the continual pushing towards tokenization and democratizing access to capital markets. Now, that's very interesting that they mention democratize right there, democratization, because something else that I have previously showcased on this stream, but I also sent this to my VIP community. Oh, when did I send this? I sent this to my VIP community way back. I'm trying to find the exact date. It was on the 27th of July. No, sorry. Well, the interview in question was the 26th of June. I put this video here on the 27th of July, 2025. So we're now talking 5-6 months back. We had an interview with Permissionless Blockworks, where you saw Joe Cutler, who is a founder of a Bitcoin mining company. He is a leader in the blockchain space. He was representing Washington's state first licensed Bitcoin company. So CoinMe, if you know who CoinMe are, check him out. But he's there sitting with some very well-respected names in the crypto space, and he talks about how crypto hasn't democratized much yet. So it's that word appearing once again, interestingly. But the main thing he mentions here is that he's excited for seeing these banks and these trillions to come into crypto to spend the space to finally get the recognition it deserves, to start exploding, as we all are believing and hoping it will come one day. But more importantly, he wants to remind the crypto natives of the world, the builders, that we cannot lose our vision of why crypto was originally created. Democratization, to remove this control, this centralized control that comes with the banking cartel that we have right now. So it's an interview that I showed to my VIPs months and months back. So we have been perfectly aware of this, which is why it makes sense to us. But if you want to find out more, check out the VIP. But as we do, though, listen closely to this interview as well.
you know, there's two things in all of it. We could talk for a year about this, but there's two things that I would say in summary that I worry about. One is the original mission of the early blockchain project, and I'm so glad that people from Ripple are here, right? Because you get this, like, is to democratize access to the control over value, and that's not happening in the institutional rebuild. We haven't democratized much, in my opinion. And I worry about that. I worry that this, and then the second thing is it was also destined to sort of remake the value propositions of aggregation of wealth, money, power, and control into a more balanced system than it was before. And I don't see that happening either in the march towards institutional adoption. And so while we're all excited about new technology, we're all excited about what we can do. We can make a trade faster on a stock exchange. We can make less friction across borders. I just hope that we get out the map once in a while and remind ourselves what country we're in, not what road we're on. You know, there's
I have just seen that comment from you, Kryptoni, and I don't care to disagree about, you know, Ripple. I know a lot of people don't like Ripple because of XRP, because it is centralized, and I completely support the sentiment. But these people do have a lot of tech savvy understanding. That is something we can't take away from them. David Schwartz is a very intellectual individual. You may not like him, Ripple CTO, or former CTO, even should I say, but he is someone who does have a great understanding of crypto and the building element of it as well. But the most important part of that, once again, is from Joe Cutler saying that we can't forget what country it's in, why we created crypto in the first place. It was a hedge, a push away from this control that these big billionaires and what the baby boomers effectively managed to take from everyone from generations below it. Especially the younger generation, the ones of Gen A, Gen Alpha, Gen Z, even millennials, they all are struggling significantly more. And the guy talking wasn't a part of Ripple. It was David Schwartz who was to the right of him. He was part of Ripple. He's no longer part of them now. I think he left sometime end of last year. But yeah, that was something I wanted to just quickly depict about the democratization, something that Brian Armstrong said, which I think is quite important, which also makes more sense why he's fighting so much in regards to the bill, that the current state of the bill, which doesn't just democratize crypto. Actually, it gives banks control, saying that people like Coinbase, they can't earn rewards from stablecoin yields. It's got to be the banks that earn it, which is wrong, I think, in everyone's opinion who's in this space. But that's quite important, and it also correlates into what is happening right now. Speaking, funnily enough, despite all this uncertainty, NYSE announced a new tokenization platform. So, a completely new trading venue with 24/7 operations, which is what you get with crypto anyways. Instant settlements, so it's not T+1, so that's time plus one, so a 1 day wait, it's instant. Stablecoin based funding, not bank-wise, and tokens natively issued as digital securities. So this is significant news, very, very big. And it got another kind of breakdown here from this individual in regards to what's going to happen. Tokenized stocks being enabled everywhere in the world. Are you digitizing your existing business or building a business that replaces it? And the answer is both. They understand that digitalization is the future, which is so important to understand. While we look at the markets, while we see the FUD, while we see the pullbacks, while we are getting increasingly frustrated, don't lose track of the mission, which is what is actually being built. I'm not saying right now this is all by design, that they're trying to send the markets down so they can accumulate a dip, and then when the markets are ready, they'll send it up. I'm not saying that out loud, but I'm also not saying it's not improbable. There is definitely an element with Vanguard now involved. BlackRock was involved back in. They got Bitcoin ETF was approved January 2024, but they filed for that in June, July 2023. So BlackRock's been here for 2 years now, and you saw many institutions following suit. Franklin Templeton was quite close after that. You had 21 Shares, Cathie Wood's company. Vanguard, who's number 2 behind BlackRock, got involved right here, around November, December time. They got in very, very late, number 2 behind Bitcoin, after they said they're not going to offer crypto to anybody ever. JP Morgan, Chase, they also said, I'm never going to do blockchain, never going to do Bitcoin. And at a similar time to Vanguard, they're now using blockchain rails and they're transacting $16 trillion a day. And they want to use more blockchain. They want to use the technology. So the adoption of the space doesn't look like it's doing much on the surface. It looks like we're going down because people only focus on the price, and we do need to focus on the price, of course. Which is why we do market analysis on these streams. We talk about what's happening in the markets, where it's going to go, so we're prepared for it. But we talk about it because we want to prepare either for potential trade setups. Of course, you do your own research and your trading discretion, but either for that or even just for better DCA levels, because we see where the future's going. What's going to happen in the long term? Well, Kaspa looks fantastic. Pavel made a summary post here in regards to what he saw and read from Jonathan Sompolinsky. Native governance, not turning complete scripting logic, is fit for simple native token swaps and maybe even basic automated market makers, which is pretty good. And we're already getting that involved. I think that's on governance. Native governance are already on testnet 12 apparently, I think. So that's huge. Inline ZK governance, local proof per transition, pre-VPROG, non-syncompono contracts in Noir, fit for standalone apps, complex tokens, perps, and bridges. So they've got, and we've seen some elements of ZK as well that was announced just yesterday as well, I believe. I think I actually made a post on that. Where was it? Yeah, here. You've got Kaspa can now verify any Groth 16 proof generated by any proof system supporting this algorithm. That is ZK, that's zero knowledge. That's also significant as well. Base ZK governance, batch async proofs, no syncompono, risk zero, SP1 or similar, fit for any standalone app, more performant, not bond or bound even by the local proof cost. Base ZK rollup, fit for any app with compatibility and any virtual machine, and then full VPROGs, sovereign syncompono with metering contracts in Rust. So it looks like they've got a sort of understanding of what these, because you've got to keep in mind what Kaspa's building right now is it's discovery. It's pretty much all based theory and discovery, and they're building it right now. They're not following a blueprint. They're trying to reinvent the wheel, and they're discovering the stuff right now and kind of making rough blueprints and roadmaps and understanding of what's happening right now. And they've discovered what these things can currently do, what they can achieve on Kaspa, and then a process of building it. Some of it's already built. Covenants is on testnet 12. We've got ZK now in some aspects. So these are huge developments to see. The KRI made a very cryptic post here as well, which I can only imagine what it's about. I would have thought it's something in regards to look, someone even asked here, cube, warp bent edges, glowing core at the center. That combination is more certainly a metaphor for warp core. Nope, something new. I am very hopeful that we can find out tomorrow when we have that roundtable, that blockchain banter space with KRI. Hopefully we'll find out exactly what this is about. I would have thought it would be Coney, the Kaspa node in space. That's what I thought it would have been, but apparently it might not be. Something that's new entirely, so that is great to hear. Because we had heard from Rory that they've got about, 20, 30 different projects that are in their pipeline, but they can't mention them all. We only know about maybe 5 or 6 publicly. It's going to be something new as well, so this is exciting stuff. They probably found a lot more they could do with Kaspa than we even realised beforehand. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. That's why I continue to look into Kaspa right now. We'll see that tomorrow. But also, as I made the post as well about it as well, AI is going to be huge as well. I think it's inevitable. We saw similar to the post that I showcased here in another article. I took a screen grab from it. Yesterday morning, they delivered a blowout quarter. It's talking about TSM, the Taiwan semiconductor manufacturer, beating estimates and setting new records, effectively silencing the skeptics who've been betting against both TSM and the broader AI trade. Management made it crystal clear. Demand for their chips, the backbone of advanced AI computing, is insatiable, meaning it is impossible to meet that demand. AI is not slowing down anytime soon. That's exactly why I made an AI playbook and I posted that to my VIP community on the weekend. AI projects that we're looking at. I posted about some of them as well yesterday. I mentioned some of them publicly, like BitTensor Tau, like Render Network, like Virtuals. Also been talking a bit about Power recently as well, which today is not doing that great, of course, because of the market volatility. But Power has already done very, very well at the beginning of this year. It's currently down almost 20%, so it's massive pullback. But I just see that as a potential possibility to either trade at a lower level or even buy at a dip. We saw it come down significantly beginning of the year. It's shot up about 4x in value. It's come down quite a bit right now, but I'm looking at it as a potential next entry level, which if we see more headwinds, which is very possible, I will not be surprised to see Power come down maybe a little bit further as well. Possibly back down to levels down here. Wouldn't surprise me, but The reason why I'm keeping a close eye on it right now is because they mentioned they've got something big coming on the 26th, which is in a week's time. So this time next week on Monday, something big should be coming. That could be a potential catalyst to drive FOMO and send the project a lot higher as well. So I'm keeping a close eye on that. So I'm keeping a very close eye on right now because I'm very, very intrigued by it. Interesting to sort that out. But AI is going to be another very, very big thing as well. And I've got a whole AI playbook that I posted to my VIP, covering some of the assets I spoke about right now, and even more that have all performed very well since the new year begun. And with the confirmation from institutions that AI is not going to slow down, the demand is impossible to fulfill, it just means that these developments we're hearing, this tariff headline, the playbook they're talking about, the escalation, the negotiations, and then whatever the resolution ends up being, these are going to drive markets down, but provide us an opportunity to seek assets that could end up doing better. Of course, you've got to do your own research, trade your own discretion, but this is stuff that I've looked into, stuff that I believe in. Of course, Kaspa is well up there of being my favorite asset. And there are some real assets as well that I've looked into that I think also can perform very well. But AI right now is the meta that is widely known, but also, I mean, look, you can look at AI right now. You can have a look at AI right now. Go to categories. We go into name, go into, let's just go into AI and big data. Market cap right now for AI and big data is at 19 billion. 19, 20 billion, that's it. It is very, very small. Very, very small. Think about the amount of capital think about what we spoke about yesterday of BNY Mellon talking about how apparently 106 trillion is needed in the next 15, 14 years to meet the demand for data centers for energy, which will also correlate to AI as well. And you've got a 20 billion market cap, and you've got institutions, McKinsey, BNY Mellon and Wells Fargo and more saying that we need hundreds of trillions, 100 trillion to meet the demand. Market for me is something that I'm very bullish on in the short to medium and even long term. We're in a bubble. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat that. We're in a bubble. It will burst. Our goal is to get in before that bubble bursts while it's still blooming, and then to get out in time, which is something that we have got a close eye on as well. But the bubble is not bursting anytime soon. That's what all the research says. So if you want to find out more, then again, you can learn more on the VIP. Links to doing that are down below in the description. You get access to all the documentation in there, the private live streams, and much, much more. You can reach out to me whenever you want to, and I'll help out with anything you need as well. Do you see any more questions we have real quick? Yes, Tony is completely right. If you enjoy the content, do me a favor. It helps out a lot more than you know. You can leave a like. It takes 2 seconds. Just help boost the engagement of the stream and spread it further and wider so people know more about the community we are building. But also, you know, we still have a big focus on Kaspa, so it would help boost the focus on Kaspa as well. Hit the like button, definitely. Subscribe while you're new. It also helps out a lot. Share with fellow friends and family members as well, if you can do. And yeah, just quickly circling back again to the TA element, the current downtrend, resistant breakout and retest. Yeah, I think that's what we spoke about. We showcased on screen, your chart that we showcased on screen even. Yeah, I think we are in for a little bit of a rebound, but I do think we see continual headwinds and a bit of a pullback to lower levels throughout this week. Davos will be quite important as well. That will also cause what we're hoping to see is some form of negotiations kind of start to brew soon, although right now we're seeing escalation right now. So while it's happening, escalation, you probably see more headwinds. Eventually the markets will cool off about it and realize that we've got until Feb before they're actually implemented. But I expect to see a bit of consolidation and maybe even some headwinds in the short term. And then until we get some potential announcement, which typically we normally see the White House, like Scott Bessent, Trump's administration kind of make an announcement about negotiations taking place. If you see that, then great. And then if the market starts to make a recovery, otherwise, then we'll have to wait and see. XXIM made an interesting video. Yeah, I saw that about the market manipulation of Kaspa as well. I haven't had a chance to check it out just yet. I plan to do so later throughout the week. But I mean, I haven't checked it out, but just on the title alone, I wouldn't say that there is no manipulation. I think it's definitely possible that Kaspa has manipulation on right now. But right now, what's happening to Kaspa is a manipulation per se. I think the markets are just generally weak because right now all the sentiment's in risk off because we've got geopolitical tensions, uncertainty rallying. Who's going to invest into risk on, which have the chance of just completely going to zero when there's so much uncertainty right now? You want to go to your golds and your silvers and your metals. We're making higher highs and higher lows on Bitcoin backups. If you took the Bitcoin test, yeah. If we go back to the 15-minute chart, we can see that we were and are making these higher highs and higher lows. The low here, high, low, high. So we should probably see Bitcoin continue rallying up. I imagine we'll probably hit a zone around here. If we're lucky, all the way back up here as well, but I doubt we'll surpass that. When the markets open tomorrow, after MLK Day, after today, we'll probably see a big reaction with what's been happening, and we'll see markets pull back a little bit. I imagine we'll see us return to the bottom here, around 91.9, if not 92k, and then we could very, very well come down to the next support down here. The very key level, of course, as we spoke about, was the bottom at 84k. That's where we have seen us hold strong, especially in that last quarter here. So I'm hopeful that in the short term, we'll see us come down here and probably find support. And then depending on the negotiations that will unfold, either that'll cause some consolidation and Bitcoin will start trading between the zone here before trying to make a move, or we see feud growing, more tensions, and we'll see it come down to here as well. 74k would be a cause for concern, definitely, but we did see that touch their back when tariffs were first launched, Liberation Day. Around then, I would not be surprised to see us come back down to 74k again, which if we do that, we're then looking at about a 40% correction from Bitcoin's top. It would be a cause for concern, of course, because typically it's 30%. And I would revisit my trading strategy around that time. I think 74k holding that is okay. If we come down further, then we can have a conversation about it. I know many people right now are holding stables. I myself am in a similar boat. I'm holding Kaspa, and I'm holding some other assets, and of course I'm looking to the air plays as well. But I'm still very much holding a lot of stables right now because there is no clear-cut direction of whether we're going to continue going down, which gives us opportunity to DCA, or whether we're going to be going back up again. Throughout 2026, I think we're going up, but I'm trying to find the best entry point, as we all should be trying to do. Every time the total MC gets over 3 billion, they dump. It's some market makers, 3 trillion. Yeah, 3 trillion, they dump. Some of the markets are holding it down. Yeah, so I think we'll probably see us lose 3 trillion. And then we saw it happen in last quarter, right? Last quarter, 2025, we saw it come back to 2.4. It came below 2.5 trillion at the bottom of that. Then we saw us make a recovery. We saw another 700 billion added. Actually, sorry, this is way back. So this Liberation Day, we saw 700 billion added on October, and then we saw the big pullback where we did just lose 3 trillion again. Just. So is the question of whether we'll lose that again or not, which I think right now is possible. I'm hoping that Kaspa continue double bottom, otherwise we continue downtrend. Yeah, that's the realistic scenario right now. If Kaspa can double bottom right here, that'd be fantastic. If not, then we're in a continual downtrend with the higher highs and lower highs and lower lows still being formed. That'll just be an anomaly effectively. Or it was a case of us trying to make a reversal, but then the geopolitical tensions, which are kind of black swan events in a sense, just caused the market to continue reverting back down again. Tariff war just started, no clarity, act approved soon, 80k is next. It's not illogical to say that. It's not illogical to say that. The Clarity Act was hoping to see some positive developments and improvements in this month, and we've seen nothing but continual headwinds and butting of heads and feud in that regard, so that has caused a little bit of FUD, albeit that's not the biggest concern right now. For retail it is, and even for institutions in the sense it is, but that's not the biggest concern because they know it's going to come through this year, hopefully. The biggest concern is just geopolitical tensions. That's the main concern. That's the main worry about tariff trade war 2.0, which for me right now is definitely going to unfold. Well, I say definitely. There's no guarantee of that. But it's highly likely right now it's going to unfold, because it's one thing, as I mentioned in the previous streams, when America and Trump are making negotiations and tariffs and trade deals for materials. It's another thing entirely when you're doing it for land. So I've heard some people saying they believe that, I mean, it's a negotiation at the end of the day, so you'll see both eventually come to the table because of the tariffs. There'll be a negotiation and you'll see what happens. I've heard some people saying that they believe it's going to be a case of there'll be an agreement where America's given part of Greenland. Now, we'll have to wait and see. Some believe that Greenland will be surrendered in some capacity to America. I don't personally see that happening. But we'll have to wait and see how it unfolds. We got, 10 days or so, 11, 12 days until the end of the month. And that's when the tariff will be enforced. So either negotiations happen before that or not. I'm sure Davos this week, the WF is going to also cause some reactions from world leaders as well. And then we'll see what happens from that point forward as well. If Vladimir Putin isn't budging on Ukraine, it isn't going to stop at Ukraine. I mean, I don't disagree, right? I don't disagree that he has now come to the realization that Putin is not going to listen to him. Because that was never going to happen, in my belief. I know he wanted to end the war with Ukraine on day one. That was never going to happen. I saw that happening personally. I didn't think he was ever going to stop the war with Ukraine, because you can't negotiate with Putin. Otherwise, people would have done it beforehand. But at the same time, whether that means that America taking Greenland is the response to that, I personally don't agree with that. I know, and within reason and within your own right, that NATO don't do anything. Therefore, should there be a retaliation and Putin and Russia end up trying to take Greenland, there would be perceived as no retaliation. Ukraine weren't a part of NATO. I don't want to get into the whole war debacle here as well, but Ukraine was not a part of NATO. Despite that they should have done, I think there's something should have been done. They're not a part of NATO. Greenland is a part of NATO. In the Denmark ownership. So that would be a more so direct attack on the NATO alliance. So, and again, America are part of that alliance. So that could also be the I guess justification. But at the same time, no one wants to go to war. Well, most of the time. Most of the time, people don't generally want to go to war. I'm prepared to hold until 2028 to 2030. Then my 3 mil Kaspa is on the way to Valhalla. Dumb in hands indeed. LB, dumb in hands indeed. The narrative is about nukes, but it's really about northern trade routes in Greenland. Yeah, that's also right. Do you think Kaspa can get into the 3-cent range again soon? Right now, yes. Right now, based on the current sentiment, with the geopolitical tensions continuing to rise and still a possibility it will get worse, right now I think we can definitely see Kaspa lose 4 cents. We did see Kaspa momentarily lose the support zone of 4.1. Of course, it regained it. It's in the support box right now, the support zone, but losing that would not be out of the question for me right now with the growing tension in the trade war. And I don't currently see an end to it right now. That might change. In this article as well from Zero Hedge, it spoke about the TACO, which is, for those who don't know what the TACO is, it's that coined term that Democrats use quite a lot to basically say that Trump always chickens out. And we'll see if that happens or not as well. See if Trump backs out when he realizes he probably can't get any form of deal going with Greenland, which is my current stance on that. But again, I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not in the cabinets of these world leaders, so I don't know what they're talking about. But I do see right now with this trade war 2.0 happening, I do see us probably coming back down. Probably end up revisiting the support here at 4 cents. And I think a possible pull back to the double bottom potential here of 3.6 is on the cards. And then we have to see how the markets are behaving at that time. We have to revisit it at that time. If we're still seeing a growing feud, then unfortunately we're still in a downtrend. We'll see a bigger pullback. People will be flooding Kaspa more and more and more, which is to be expected. Although we've got to remember, don't be emotional, be logical. This is not an issue of Kaspa. It's an issue of the markets and the geopolitical tensions weighing too heavily in on the financial markets. Everything's not doing well, you know, in crypto. Gold, silver, all-time highs. Stocks is nearing all-time highs, but here's the thing, right? And people don't seem to understand that as well, which is why I talk about AI being so huge. Stocks are nearing all-time highs, not because stocks are doing well, because big tech and AI is holding the market up. That's exactly what we spoke about on Sunday in our roundtable, in our VIP. You want to find that information, access to that document, and listen to that roundtable that we posted on Sunday so it's relevant, and it's also talking a lot about the markets right now. Tune to the VIP, check out the free links, or the 7-day free trial, or the 1-month free trial for our exchange, BYDFI affiliate exchange, and you'll see what you want to see and learn what's happening in the markets right now. The S&P 500 right now is doing well, not because the markets are doing well. It's a misconception. Stocks are doing terribly. It's the big caps, mainly the big tech AI ones, the Nvidias, the AMDs, they're the ones who are holding the market up right now. Even then, I do expect to see probably a pullback tomorrow when the markets open. I do expect to see a pullback. But AI and big tech holding it up, that's why I'm looking into AI cryptos right now. Because when that sentiment of risk off shifts to risk on, and this AI bubble that is growing continues to balloon, AI cryptos will do fantastic. We've seen it already at the beginning of the year. Tau did great at the beginning of the year. Already coming back down a bit, but Tau did great from the beginning of the year. You saw virtuals do very well at the beginning of the year in the first week or so. You saw Render. Render also do extremely well at the beginning of the year. You saw make a 2x. It's currently actually up about 0.14. It's not doing much there, but even then it's still doing quite well. Render. That's one of my favorite picks in AI right now, alongside some other ones. And then PAL, as you mentioned earlier, PAL equally is a very, very high risk one. So of course you do so your own trade at your own discretion, but that one has done extremely well since the beginning of the year. Come down quite a lot today, around 17%, but it's already done a 4x. The high risk, high reward there. So you want to find out more, get access to the AI playbook, the document that we posted. You can learn much more about the assets that we're looking in question. And it's not just a case of seeing the picks, it's also understanding, you know, a much more deeper rundown about the documents. For example, here is a quick snippet of the one from Bitensa Tau. We do a project overview, all the rundown here about everything about it. We do the known partnerships with Bitensa and the other projects in there as well. Tokenomics, negative rumors, and the potential risk to reward in that as well. The whole rundown right there. And there's many other documents in there as well you can look through. Again, learn more about that in the VIP. But that being said, family, that does conclude today's live stream. Hopefully you enjoyed today, as we're now pushing the hour mark. If you want to find out more, check out the VIP once again. Tomorrow will be interesting. Tomorrow will be an interesting day. You won't hear a market update, of course. You might see a video come out tomorrow. Actually, you probably will do. So stay tuned for that. But you won't see a live stream talking about the markets tomorrow, because tomorrow's going to be talking with the KRI, me and Crypto Pump. So it's going to be very exciting stuff. We're looking forward to that a lot. So that's going to be cool. But otherwise, then watch out for the video tomorrow, and the further live streams will be dissecting and following along to what's currently taking place and the markets, and preparing ourselves for what to happen next. With that being said, have a great day, good evening, good night, family. Leave a like, share your friends, and subscribe for more. And I will speak to you all in the next one. Speak to you all tomorrow.